During the spring semester of kindergarten, I was slashed in the face by a stranger in an alleyway behind my house. Don't worry, I'm not going to give you all the grisly details like some Sweeps episode of Dateline. I'm only bringing it up to say why I don't want to talk about it. I can typically tell a lot about a person if they ask me about my scar. Most people never ask, but if it comes up naturally in conversation and I offer up the story, they're quite interested. Some people are just dumb. Did a cat scratch you? God bless those sweet dum-dums, I never mind. And then it's kind of like a fun sociology litmus test. Like when my friend Ricky asked me, hey, did they ever catch the black guy that did that to you? No, Ricky, it wasn't a black guy. And I never said it was. Then there's another sort of person who thinks it makes them seem brave or wonderfully direct to ask me about my scar right away. They'll ask with quiet, feigned empathy, how did you get your scar? The grossest part is when they say they're only asking because it's so beautiful. Oh, disgusting! They might as well walk up to me and say, may I be amazing at you? To those folks, let me be clear. I have no interest in acting in a TV movie with you where you befriend a girl with a scar. An Oscar Spielberg movie where I play mean German? Absolutely. My whole life, people who ask me about my scar within 1 week of knowing me turn out to be egomaniacs of average intelligence or less. And egomaniacs of average intelligence or less more often than not end up in the field of TV journalism. So you see, if I was supposed to give you all the gory details and descriptions now, I'd just be asked about it over and over again by the host of Access Movie Town and Entertainment Forever for the rest of my short-lived career. But I will tell you one thing. My scar made me a miniature form of celebrity. People knew who I was because of it. And kids claimed to have been there. I was there, I saw it, Crazy Mike did it. Adults were nice to me because of it. Aunts and family friends would give me Easter candy and big Hershey's kisses long after I was too old for presents. I was made to feel special. But what should have shut me down or made me feel less than ended up giving me an inflated sense of self. It wasn't until years later, maybe not until I was actually writing this book, that I realized people weren't making a fuss over me because I was some incredible beauty or genius. They were making a fuss over me to compensate for my being slashed. But I accepted all attention at face value and proceeded through life as if I really was extraordinary. At 10, I asked my mother if I could start shaving my legs. My dark skin fur was hard to ignore, especially in shorts weather, and my best friend Marie was a pale Irish lass who probably still doesn't have any leg hair to this day. My mom said it was too soon and that I would regret it, but she must have taken one look at my increasingly hairy and sweaty frame and realized something was brewing. A few months later, she gave me a box from the Modus Company. It was a My First Period kit, and it contained samples of pads, panty liners, and 2 pamphlets. One was the vaguely threatening Growing Up and Liking It, and the second was called How Shall I Tell My Daughter? I'm pretty sure she was supposed to read that one and then give it to me, but instead she just threw the whole box in my room and walked out. As I nauseously persuade How Shall I Tell My Daughter, I started to suspect that my mom really hadn't read the pamphlet before handing it to me. The explanatory text was followed by a bunch of designs and setups of a human reproductive system that my brain still can't memorize to this day. All I know now is that there's about 2 to 4 openings down there and that the setup looks vaguely like the Texas Longhorn logo. I shoved the box in my closet where it haunted me daily. There might have been a guy dressed as Freddy Krueger in there for the amount of anxiety it gave me. And then it happened. In the spring of 1981, I achieved it while singing Neil Diamond's song Sung Blue. I'd been feeling kind of weird earlier in the day, but I knew from a commercial that one's menstrual cycle was a clear blue liquid that poured like laundry detergent into a maxi pad to test its absorbency. And this wasn't blue, so I just ignored it for a few hours. When we got home, I pulled my mom aside and asked her if it was weird that I was bleeding from my underpants. She was very sympathetic, but also kind of baffled. Her eyes said, "Dummy, didn't you read the text I gave you?" But I had read it, and nowhere in the pamphlet did it say one's menstrual cycle was not a pale blue liquid. To this day, all I know is that I became a woman and I will never become a doctor.